welcome back.
We're getting ready to move into our final segment for today, and we're speaking autism. And joining us for this conversation, we have app developer and parent Tiffany Simpson, and also her son, who's an autistic child, Jaden Simpson, to talk about how this whole idea came into being. Good morning, Tiffany and Jaden, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, autism is not something that Belizeans necessarily talk about.
Yes.
So let's start there. What exactly, just from your parental research, because I'm sure that's what triggered quite a bit for you to do some work on autism.
Yes. Well, the thing is, I didn't know anything about autism. In fact, even noticing some issues with my son's development, I had no idea what exactly it was and how to go about finding information on what these issues were. I remember about almost 4 years ago, I was at a family friend. I was doing some printing. My printer had gone in, and I went over to do some printing by his shop. And well, he has 2 children that are autistic. And
in Belize,
in
we
Belize,
need to specify
yes, in
that.
Belize,
so
that
people know that children and people are living with autism in Belize.
Yes, so based on his experience, I think maybe like 10 minutes, my son was there at the shop, and he said, you know, your son he's autistic, you should get him checked out.
How old was Jaden at the time?
He was about 3 years old, maybe 2 going on to 3, but...
Was he speaking yet?
No, he was not speaking. He would say some phrases and then he would forget those, and then there was nothing consistent about his speech development.
Yeah.
And I knew that something was afoot. I wasn't sure. I kept telling myself that he might be tied tongue, and that would be the issue for him to, you know, the issue for him not speaking as yet or speaking clearly. He was, his mouth was opening and closing and songs were coming out, but they weren't clear. And we have had many struggles, a lot of frustrated times where he's trying to communicate to me and I have no idea what he's trying to say to me. So when this family friend told me that, you know, my son is autistic, and he was confident about that, he told me where to go and who to contact to start the process of having him evaluated. And it took about 2 to 3 weeks, because I said to myself that if I go and have him evaluated and he is in fact autistic, then this is something I'm going to have to deal with. And I think it took me about 3 weeks to work up the nerve to say, okay, now I'm ready
to accept
that you know, we need to go and find out, and whatever the diagnosis is, I am going to have to deal with that. At this time, I was a single parent. I still am a single parent, and so, you know, running my own business, that's one challenge. Being a single mom is another challenge. And the idea that, you know, my son might be autistic would kind of add another challenge to an already extremely challenging situation. And I went to see Dr. Eck, and I think maybe after 10 minutes of being in the office with him, he said, oh yes, your son is autistic, and he started to explain. And I remember one of the things that he said that, you know, one of the challenges that you will face is that had your son been, had he had Down syndrome and he had a meltdown in public, people would sympathize with you. But when your child is autistic and he has a meltdown in public, then you're just a bad parent.
Because they're appearance, there's
Yes,
no difference in
person.
their appearance as you would see with a child with Down syndrome. And it's interesting because we do know very little about autism spectrum disorder in Belize. And even in the rest of the world, the struggle with the number of diagnoses is really boiling back down to the fact that maybe people are just becoming more aware. And it affects each individual child in a different way.
Right.
Some are non-verbal, some are verbal. Communicating in general is of a different pattern. Different social behaviors and interacting with people is a genuine challenge.
Yes.
So you hear all that, and because it's a spectrum disorder, you know, you could be on any level.
Exactly.
So when you first find out that they're saying Jaden is autistic, and you're hearing of all the possibilities of symptoms and effects it may have, what was going through your mind? What scared you the most?
That he would not be able to speak. At that time, he wasn't speaking. He was already 3 years old. And one day, I said, God, you need to show me a solution to this. There has to be a way out of this. This couldn't be the end of it. And I was observing him, and I noticed that when he was trying to speak, his mouth was opening and closing, but his lips weren't moving. So I took the camera on my cell phone and I started to record my mouth while saying his name, asking him for his name, asking general questions that we would, you know, just general questions that people would normally ask a child when they meet them in public. And I think it took like maybe a month of him just looking at those videos for hours, almost all day. And he was so in tune to it. It's all he would do during the course of the day. And I think maybe like 4 weeks of doing that, he started to say his name. And he wasn't saying anything. Maybe 1 or 2 times he would say yes or no, but there was nothing ever consistent about that. And he started to practice saying his name, and I would ask him, what is your name? And he would say Jaden, and I would ask him how old he is, and he would tell me his age. But once he started school and he was asked, what's the name of your school? He said Jaden. So I realized he was just processing the word name in the sentence as opposed to the entire sentence structure. So I thought to myself that I would need something visual to help him to differentiate between the different sentence structures and what questions he was being asked. And that's when I started to teach myself to develop the computer games and then later on the mobile apps.
So your biggest fear was that he would be nonverbal.
Yes.
And you moved into using your own skills to be able to help you. What was Jaden's diagnosis?
Asperger's.
Okay, so what does that mean?
That is very broad.
Yeah.
So he had symptoms for Asperger's, but his mobility was excellent. He was walking before he turned 9 months. I think he started to stand at 5 months. So he started to move around very quickly. He was very good on the bicycle. He just picked up the bike and he started to ride. One day he took off the training wheels with his hands and he rode the bike and he was doing wheelie and...
It seems like a normal child.
Yes.
So how do you explain to people what it means when you say, well, this is my son Jaden, and he is autistic, he has Asperger's. What do you tell people to expect?
Well, now he operates just like any child would. In terms of when he started school, I explained to the principal that he was autistic, and they had a lot of experience dealing with children with autism. One of the issues was him acting out in class. If he was hungry, he wouldn't say he's hungry because, you know, he would just throw a tantrum and expect that you would know that he's hungry because just at that very time he needed to express himself, the words didn't come together. He couldn't articulate it at that time. And that's one of the issues that, one of the challenges of being autistic. For him, when I started to develop the games and the different activities, he would practice his conversation and practice how to use his words and explain himself. He still practices how to converse with his friends, so that when he's at the park or anywhere else, he knows how to initiate a conversation, how to carry on with the conversation, and how to conclude the conversation, and he isn't left out and feel kind of out of place, right?
Now, Jaden, do you have anything? But where's your game? Did you bring your game today?
Yeah.
Oh, how often do you play your game?
I just play Legos and Sonic with colors.
Okay. What school do you go to, Jaden?
Cars Academy.
Okay. And how old are you?
7.
Ah!
You turned 7 on Monday.
Belated happy birthday.
You forgot that you were turning 7?
Yes.
So, what's your favorite thing about the games that Mommy has made for you?
I just play Sonic games, and I just download one game.
No,
and you like it?
it?
Does it teach you anything?
You remember the counting game?
Oh. 1.
Jason, what's your favorite? Jaden, sorry. What's your favorite subject in school?
I just worked to school, and I just did my homework.
Yeah, but which
What
one of the
subject?
lessons from the teachers do you like the most? Do you like math? Do you like English? Do you like science?
Homework.
You like homework. Okay, well, you're a very special kid.
What I usually do when he has homework, I turn the homework into an app. So
There's so
homework
much
is a
fun
game.
when Mommy is technologically savvy.
Yes. So homework becomes the favorite subject.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about the app itself and what all does it offer.
Okay, well, this program that I just launched called Speaking Autism, it's geared towards creating personalized learning apps for academics and social learning for persons almost exclusively with autism. We have opened the program to some individuals who have special needs that would benefit from the program. Right now the program is only open to 25 persons, and unfortunately we only have about 5 spaces left. But what we do once a person becomes a member of the program, we create personalized learning apps specifically for that individual to cover whatever subject area they need help in. So it could be academic, it could be social stories, whether they need help with interacting with other kids in their classroom, or they need help academically, whether it's their alphabet shapes, counting.
So the thing with this app and autism is it's just not restricted to academic development.
No.
It might be social interaction or verbal and non-verbal communication.
Right. And the reason why it's personalized is because I think everybody I've ever met who has a child with autism or a family member with autism, it is completely different. Their needs are all completely
So it
different.
has to be tailored.
Very
It has to be tailored,
individualized.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's for that reason that this program is personalized, because what has made a difference for my son is the fact that I was able to tailor the programs to meet his needs specifically, not just downloading an app from the App Store that was general, right? It's illustrated and narrated, so the little character says his name, she or he, because we also have a male, they interact with him. And so, you know, it goes beyond just having him cover general information, but we're able to tailor it to his classwork, to his schoolwork, to situations that he might encounter in his day-to-day activities.
So how difficult is it, especially given the fact that he says he loves homework? You have to process the information and figure out how you're going to put it into the program?
Well, over the past 3 years, I have developed somewhat of a template, a system, whereby I could just plug in some information and, you know, have him interact with the program. So I'm able to create the apps in about half an hour, maybe 15 minutes to half an hour. I get the book, scan it, crop it, and then package it. So
now, how do you plan to make this program help the 25 people? There was a fee involved, and I do want to commend people, because we put it out on you put it out on Facebook, we shared it, and because it really is phenomenal what you're doing, and you've had people come in and sponsor parents who couldn't afford it. But what are you planning to do for these 25 people? They're not all for children with autism or autism spectrum disorder. They're for children with different learning or developmental disorders. So what are you planning to do for them?
Well, once they become a member, we have a form in the members area. The program is operated online, and they would submit requests for apps for different subject areas. We have a form that they fill out, and they will tell us ideally what it is they need. More than likely it would be the parent or anybody closely related with the child, and they know specifically what the child's needs are.
Okay.
They can upload a file with maybe questions or any materials they would like, images or anything of the sort, and then I would include it in the app. It could be an activity or a game or a social story, whatever, and then we post the app to their account within 24 to 72 hours, depending on the volume of the materials.
And what's the range of developmental disorders that you have had people approach you about now with this since you announced?
Yes. From nonverbal, there's one person that contacted me. They had a family member. He's not 10 as yet, but he's nonverbal. He doesn't walk. I'm not sure, I can't remember if he doesn't sit up straight, but there have been so many people contacting me that I can't remember specifically what each issue is, but I now realize that there are a lot of people who have family members who were unaware that this could be autism. A lot of them are of the impression that their 7-year-old family member will soon start talking. And, you know, had they had access to a community, or I wouldn't say have access, but autism is something that I guess we're still trying to figure out, so to speak. So it's somewhat in its infancy, and I guess putting together a program like this and reaching out to other families who may be affected by possibly autism, because they would need to be diagnosed.
And in terms, you were supposed to be joined by Narcy today. Unfortunately, there were some scheduling issues. But in terms of what Belize offers, there are some resources in terms of getting preliminary tests done. There's some specialists who come in at times who can be able to offer some of the testing that needs to be done. So I think the most important thing is that parents reach out.
You're right. And yeah, definitely.
There is a small autism in Belize organization as well.
But like with any special need, there is that stigma.
Yes.
Right? And that stigma really, the hub of it is in the family. Not so much people on the outside, but
the parents hide them.
Yes, because
so that's the question I wanted to ask you. Besides, you know, your ability to develop apps, and sometimes, I mean, this is something that obviously you recognize as a problem for quite a number, or a challenge for quite a number of people. What made you decide to actually publicize this and to move from the very personal struggle that you may be having to a very public space now, and putting Jaden out there as well?
Yes. Well, I actually developed this program a year ago, but I think emotionally I wasn't ready. It is a very, very difficult challenge to encounter, especially having to deal with your own family members where the issue is concerned.
Yeah.
And it is very easy for parents especially to just pretend that nothing is going on, to kind of just, I understand that it's easy for them.
Yeah.
But the challenge won't go away, and I do believe that now I'm strong enough to reach out to others and to kind of help them.
Tiffany, can I ask you, I mean, Jaden is speaking now, you've helped him so much in terms of getting integrated in school. Does he have any, what are some of the differences that people see that they don't often understand? Because typically a child with autism doesn't necessarily imitate, which is one of the things we always expect from children. Some usually have problems with empathizing, like you might be crying and they don't respond. Does he have those or specific social behaviors that people don't understand? Does he have anything like that that really makes it difficult for you to explain to people that this is not bad behavior or a child that almost seems unresponsive?
Yes. But well, we had those issues earlier on, where if somebody starts crying, he would attack them. Right? If a child would cry, he would attack them because he didn't understand the songs that were coming out of their mouth or what it is they were doing. And then we went into that phase of the plastic hugs and the
didn't like touching.
Yes, didn't like touching. When family members would try and hold him, he would push them away. Now we've gotten past that stage where he has learned how to respond to affection, but it's not something that came naturally. Right? And it's one of the things that people don't understand with autism, is that a lot of these emotions that we feel and our reaction, it doesn't happen the same way with them. And I think that's one of the it's a bit scary, really. You know, when I first started to work with him with the apps and things like that, he was attacking the kids in class. He was lashing out. It has been
a journey.
And those are behaviors, if I could only imagine, trying to explain to other parents or to teachers. That can be very difficult, because you know, we only know how we respond to things. So if I see William looking extraordinarily sad or starts crying, or even as children, we respond. But it's one of the things that, not all, because each case is different, but some children with autism face. So what is, at 7 years old, since Jaden is now 7, what is the particular hurdle for you now?
There's still the issue with the speech and the comprehension. He doesn't necessarily, well, let me put it like this. There are some things that he gets, and when he gets it well. And then there are other things in terms of communication and comprehension that seems to be, there are pieces of the puzzle missing, right? And so we're still working on that. He still comes up with his own sentence structures at times when trying to express himself. He knows what specific words he wants to have in the sentence to convey whatever message, but he kind of fills in the rest just to, you know, make up the sentence. But it's good because he's able to convey the idea without having to throw a tantrum, and he's able to use his words, right? So that helps him to better communicate, especially with me. Sometimes he's a bit embarrassed to talk to other people because he is somewhat aware that the sentence might not be structured the right way. Or he would come to me and say, "Mom, how do you explain this, or how do you say this," right? So.
And tomorrow, of course, is being celebrated as Light It Up.
It's World Autism Day.
World Autism Day. Light It Up Blue is an organization, and I think they're working along with Autism Speaks, or they're one and the same organization.
Yeah.
But it's
a global awareness initiative.
It's World Autism Awareness Day
tomorrow. And since we know people aren't necessarily in the mood, or I should say their frame of mind is more geared towards Easter, we wanted to get you all in today so people can remember that people in Belize are living with autism. Some parents are really trying to find their way on how to have their children survive in a highly stigmatized society when it comes to mental health issues in general and developmental disorders. So we're so happy that you have taken on this initiative. You said there are only 3 spaces left. How do people get in contact with you to get those final slots?
Okay.
And what's next for this program?
Yes, well, we have already started with the program. We want to finalize membership this week. There's a one-time membership fee of $200 to get into the program. You'll need access to a laptop or a tablet to download the app so that your child or whoever is joining the program can access the information. Our website is www.speakingautism.org, or you can call me at 607-1088. And also I wanted to make a note that there are some people who need this program and they are not able to afford it, right? And we want to extend the program to them. However, the $200 membership fee is like bare bones. We can't go any lower than that kind of.
It's an individualized program.
Right. So, you know, it takes a lot for us to kind of manually create these apps. But we're having a T-shirt fundraising campaign to support those families. So interested persons. Yes.
Speaking Autism is showing us already. Thank you.
Yes. So you can get a T-shirt for $25. You could call me at 607-1088 to order. And all proceeds go towards getting these families, especially in the rural areas, who the person with autism doesn't necessarily go to school because of the distance, and then it's just so much
special needs.
Yes, the special needs, right.
And so we are also appealing that people who want to sponsor even if they don't have a child that needs it,
how many
they can
spaces
sponsor.
You have? 3 or 5?
We have 5 left.
Okay.
5. I've gotten two people text me this morning and said that please save a space for them. So I will try to save the space, but we do need the $200 one-time membership fee. There is no way we can waive that fee. Initially we had decided that we would charge per app, but we have cut it down to the $200 membership fee. And once you're a member of the program, we continue to create the apps as the members need. The other thing is we're not sure how and when The program will be expanding. This is the first membership drive. So we want to work with those persons who...
So this is your testing phase,
yeah. We're working out our kinks, yes. So.
Well, I just want to say kudos to you for really taking hold of a situation that you were faced with and making an impact on Jaden's life, but not just Jaden's now, to the other families that will now be able to benefit.
Yes.
And Jaden, is there anything you want to tell us this morning? You're having a good morning?
Yes.
Yeah.
Your first time on TV? Was it nervous? Or are you nervous?
No.
All right.
What are you going to do today?
Am I going to try to behave?
You're gonna ride your bicycle. You're on holiday, right? You're having fun on holiday?
Yeah.
All right.
What are some of the things that you've been doing?
I was just been working.
You're a hard worker.
Well, thank you very much for coming this morning, okay?
Do you want to come back again?
It's okay to say no.
Yeah.
He's being nice.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Jaden.
Thank you very much,
to
Jaden and
Tiffany.
Tiffany.
And obviously, life prepares us for what's next, right?
Yes, it does.
All right. Thank you. Great initiative, and we're glad that people are latching on to this idea as well. So, wish you success with it.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and take that final break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap up, so stay tuned.